Well, good afternoon. Hello, how is everyone doing today? I am Alviana Brewster, your nurse extraordinaire, aka the owner founder of Black Nurse Entrepreneurs. We are the premier networking organization for Black nurses interested in launching, building, and growing their entrepreneurial endeavors. And guess what? We have episode 22 here today. It is called Put Your Skills to Use, Start a CPR Training Business. And in this episode, we have one of my favorite special guests with us today, Miss LaVon McPhee-Lopez. LaVon has an extensive background as a critical care registered nurse and currently is a clinical educator for the Medical-Neurological ICU. She holds a master's degree in business administration and a bachelor's of science in nursing with multiple critical care certifications. She is the owner of Matter2TheHeart LLC, where she teaches BLS, ACLS, PALS, Heart Saver, and instructor training. She also provides lectures and trainings to assist nurses in being prepared to take their medical surgical, PCCN, and CCRN certifications. And lastly, she has recently launched her very own Matters to the Heart makeup line, y'all. If you're looking to start a CPR training business, if you want to work with a proven business model to provide AHA instruction and assistance in establishing a social media identity utilizing LaVon's coaching program, or how about if you need more customers or revenue, let LaVon help you to create a custom marketing strategy to increase your business's visibility. So without further ado, I present to you our favorite, the Island Glam Diva Girl, Miss LaVon McPhee-Lopez. So let me go grab her for you guys. Hi, sister. How are you doing today?
Fantastic after that wonderful intro, Albiona.
So wait a minute. First off, I'm looking at my screen here and I see all this lovely CEO. I know there's got to be some kind of a story behind this because that looks amazing. Tell me about the CEO shirt.
Thank you so much, and thanks for everybody who's watching tonight on this Friday evening. So it's actually this T-shirt and Tam is by accident, but it does make a very very true statement because we are CEOs. Just about everyone in your fantastic group are entrepreneurs, nurse entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, or what have you. We are the CEOs of our company. But the reason or how I got to wear this shirt is because we are taking our clients into an expanded direction to try to get them to consider building their business credit. And as I'm going myself on that journey, I was establishing one of my vendor accounts, and I'm like, okay, what should I buy? I wanted to buy something that I needed, and after I purchased all of their supplies and cleaning supplies, and I'm like, okay, I wanted to get to a specific limit, but I wanted to be meaningful. And they had these little shirts there, and I'm like, oh, they're so cute. So I'm building business credit. I purchased something that actually is a true fact as I am going through this podcast tonight. And it's just, it just fit the scene. Plus, it helps me in building my business credit. There you go.
There you go. I love it. You know what? It's so simple, but it's kind of like just that powerful statement. And I just love the colors. B&E is that black, white, and gray,
I
and
know.
so it's like perfect. So yeah.
CEO
So
period.
say that again.
CEO period. You see the period, like the dots?
Uh-huh. I see it. I see it. So many of us, especially if we're up either early in the morning or late at night, we catch you always going live talking about CPR. But one thing that I love about your live videos is you give us more than just CPR instructor training. Tell us a little bit about how you even just start off with the story about how you even got into nursing, and then we'll go further into your CPR journey.
Okay. Well, I nursing is my second career. Prior to nursing, I was an accountant for Coca-Cola for 9 years. I went to school. I got my actually a bachelor's in management information systems, and continued doing my MBA. And then I went back and added several more master level classes in accounting. did that for 9 years. And then I have to tell you, my mother was a nurse. I have two sisters that are nurses. My daughter is a nurse. My niece is a nurse. Nursing flows through our family, much like your
Wow. Yes.
I came home on my lunch hour, and I think it was Hurricane Katrina, or it wasn't Katrina. It was some global catastrophic thing that had happened. Either it was the earthquake. I not quite remember what it was, but I was so moved, and I was like, "Why can't we do anything? Why can't?" It wasn't in here, so it had to be Haiti. It was one of those, and I'm like, "Why can't
Mm.
we?" And it just hurt me to the core to see that we're such a nation of so many overflowing and abundance, and that we couldn't deliver help to people in the immediate aftermath of such a catastrophe. And I was moved, and I almost considered doing mission work to go out and help them. And then I said, you know what? And at the same time, my job was constantly laying off. They called it finance optimization, but that was code word for, we're going to find someone overseas that can do our jobs a little better automated, and then we're going to lay people off, but we're not going to call it layoffs. Right? And so I was always ahead of the curve. And I said, well, one day they're going to get me. I'm going to be the road runner. And then these two things came together where I felt like my job, I was almost next on the chopping block. But then I was seeing this global catastrophe where so many of our fellow brothers and sisters were not being helped and were dying. And like, I felt paralyzed that we couldn't go and do more. And I came at that intersection, and I said, you know what? I'm going to go. I want to be a nurse. And so Coca-Cola was very, very generous to me. They paid for my nursing school, had absolutely nothing to do with business, paid for my nursing school, allowed me to cut my hours and try out doing nursing in a structured program. I liked it. And I went on full time, and that was almost 10 years, and I never looked back.
Wow. Interesting. Very interesting story. It's funny how we kind of navigate through those waters to get to nurse, and we all have a different story, but very interesting. So you do already have a little bit of a business background before you even got into nursing, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And before I worked for Coca-Cola, I held a Series 6 license. I worked in Baltimore, Maryland for a very large international financial services company. So I was one license short of selling stocks, which is a Series 7, but I was able to sell financial products and whatnot. I did that for a few years. I was a manager. And then I came down here to Tampa, Florida, and delved into accounting.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. So, island girl, when did you come to the States? Have you always like, did you started nursing here, correct?
Yes, I started nursing here. Actually, I graduated school when I was 15. Didn't have a clue in my life, but I went to a private school in the Bahamas, graduated really, really early, had no idea what to do with my life. And my mother said, either you go to work or you go to school or I get at my house. A typical island person, island parent. So I went to work, and then I came to the United States, and then I went home on vacation one day, and one of my good friends, father knew the deputy prime minister. His friend was a chauffeur for the deputy prime minister, told me to go up there and go see somebody. I saw
Mm.
somebody. I was on vacation, and they hired me sight unseen to work for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which is like your State Department here.
Yeah.
There for several years, and then I took a study leave. I came here to the United States. I said I wanted not to live in a fishbowl. I love my country, but it's a fishbowl. Everybody knows everybody. So I
Mm.
came over here, and I never went back. I mean, I go back for vacations, but I made this my permanent home.
Okay, so whenever it's time for us to have B&E trips, we can go to the Bahamas, right? You
Absolutely, but
sh-
you guys can keep up with me.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. So with your nursing career, um, give us an overview of kind of what all you've done, because I know you have an extensive, heavy critical care background, but have you done other aspects of nursing?
So I started on a cardiac step down floor. So cardiac was my first introduction to nursing specialty, and then I was promoted to Med-Neuro ICU, and I had the opportunity to do critical care cardiac per se, but I wanted to see the entire body system. So I went to Med-Neuro ICU. I did a Suedo team leader role. I was there for several years, and then I was plucked, groomed to be their educator because of my extensive neuro background. I do have multiple certifications. One is a stroke certified nurse. One is a neuro certified nurse, which encompasses strokes and every other thing you can think that envelopes the brain and the spinal cord. And because of that, I was tapped to be our medical neuro educator because that's such a specialty and not many folks had that. And so I was plucked and groomed to be our educator. So I currently practice as a med neuro educator, but I also run our critical care internship program. So I train nurses who are in med surg or PCU who want to be ICU nurses. We interview them. In fact, our next cohort is starting this Tuesday. And so I am tasked with developing the program, getting speakers, making sure that by the end of the, and this is also CCU, CSU, I also train those interns. I have an assistant, but I run the program. I'm the coordinator. And I'm tasked by the end of 12, 15 weeks to give to the hospital capable nurses who can function on their own in neuro ICU, CCU ICU, and cardiac surgical ICU. So that keeps me busy. I run the Code Blue drills at our hospital along with my coworker. So we're in charge of that. And then I developed about 70% of our COVID Code Blue protocol.
Wow.
Did that in April last year. So it keeps me busy. Keeps me busy.
So how did you get into CPR, teaching and holding those classes? I mean, it makes sense to me, but what is your journey to that?
I can vividly remember my first code as a brand new nurse, and I remember how that went. And I remember the family was so traumatized, conflicted about making decisions. I knew the person was not going to make it because they were in mods, right? They were circling the drain. They were in mods, but they were doing heroic efforts, and that made an impact on me. And then, of course, in the ICU, we see so much. I mean, we see patients at their worst, right?
Hmm.
A lot of the stories are, I mean, we have good stories, good outcomes, but we also have a lot of death. I mean, for no lack of a better word, we see death often. And I was one of those nurses that would run the codes. Like some nurses shy away. I would run the codes because it's sort of weird. I don't want to say I'm an adrenaline junkie. I am an adrenaline junkie. And I know it's sort of macabre to say I like codes, not in the sense that I relish people being, at the tip of death, but from the sense that I see it as problem solving, trying to figure out
Hmm.
what is the problem? How can we fix it? Can we get to it in time? We have a ticking clock. Can we figure out what's going on? That's the angle that I see it. And then I am a alpha when it comes to a nursing. I'm a B when it comes to personalities. I have a very soft heart, but when it comes to nursing, I am absolutely an A personality, and I like things to be running well. I want that patient to have the best possible team that they can possibly have there. And to be honest with you, some codes I went to earlier or on the floors, I would see nurses. They would hold an ACLS certification or a BLS certification, but they didn't really know what they were doing, or it was half. How do I say it, done incorrectly? Their
Hmm.
heart was there, but they didn't know how to deliver what they should be doing or with the delay. And when I go to these codes, my main goal is they know when they see me coming. We need our A team. This is somebody's life there. They have a mother, father, sister, brother. We're going to try to do our best to try to save this person. And if it don't make it, it's not because of our lack of expertise or for our lack of trying. It's because the decider upstairs decided it's time to call them home. And that's
Hmm.
it.
Gotcha. So, from my understanding, you teach not only BLS, but you pretty much teach it all.
Mhm.
Am I right?
I cover BLS, which is your basic. I always say you can't get the ACLS or PALS unless you go through BLS first, primary assessment. But I also do ACLS, which is for the critical care when you're doing the drugs and you have to recognize the rhythm and push the drugs and whatnot. And then I teach PALS, which not very many people can teach PALS. That is NICU, pediatrics, dealing with children, which is a whole different ball game.
Hmm.
it's a whole different way that we even approach how we treat them. The drugs are weight-based for the most part. Most of it is respiratory. So it's a whole different world. But no, I'm pretty comfortable teaching all three of them.
So since during this COVID season, I know before COVID you were traveling, but I feel like you've been really traveling during this season. Every time I turn around, she is somewhere else. She's in Dallas, she's over here, she's over there. You've been really doing a great job at quote unquote pivoting to an extent during this season and really still utilizing your business and running with it. I mean, I'm really, honestly, I'm really proud of you, how you've taken on the opportunity to still teach people and really get as many BLS um, educators or instructors certified as much as possible here lately. And I tell you one thing, I've heard nothing but the greatest stories about your classes. I mean, people just really, really brag about how much, because I know you pour a lot into them. You know, it's not just about just BLS, but you add in business and marketing and all sorts of other strategic tips to help them to make their BLS uh, whole business model and be able to run with it. I want you to talk a little bit about what you do. What all do you offer?
Absolutely. That's a lot to unpack there. I will tell you, COVID took all of us by surprise.
Mhm.
Um, and I remember growing up in the islands, and we had, when we first got our own national TV station, the station didn't start until 5 p.m. And the first show was Sesame Street. So
Really?
whether you were an adult or whether you were a child, you were glued to the TV because that was ours. Nationalism. But whether it was Sesame Street, it was a clear picture. There
Mhm.
was no snow. And I remember the character Grover, he had a little song that he would say over, under, through, right? And I took that in my adult life to say, whatever. And I am a big encourager of my nurses, especially my nurses, my novice nurses or what have you, even just anyone in general. I'm an internal optimist. And I always say, if you have a goal and you can't figure out how to get something jump started, try another door, try another avenue. So COVID, and I was like, I'm not going to have my business be defeated and I have to close up shop or what have you. Let me think and figure out how can I reimagine my business so I can still deliver CPR to those that need it, all within a safe environment while we deal with COVID. So that's where I came up with, okay, so if I can't take the instructor class to the masses here, and there are needs in the United States, well, why not take it to where the need is? So that's that. But I also know that when I took my instructor class, the first year I didn't know what I was doing. I'm just being transparent. I had no clue. No clue because nobody told me. You know,
Mhm.
you take the instructor class and maybe you get about maybe 5 minutes of business, if that. It's so little. If you blink, or if you like turn your head, you didn't hear anything. Like
Mhm.
my first 6 months, even I would say the first year, if I knew then what I knew now, when I think of all the lost revenue and the lost opportunities, and I'm like, surely. And the only way to be honest with you, that I was able to navigate through that is because of my prior business background.
Mhm.
And so I knew that even though people, when they take the instructor class, I knew that, yeah, so you will learn how to pretty much, hold a class and set up a roster and whatnot. But really and truly, after those initial first months, when you get your peers and your coworkers and your families, then what? Right? Or even when I did the IDOL and the EIDG, helping people, so many folks didn't have their business set up right. And so I purpose that when I teach my class, once we get the BLS part out of it, or the ACLS, and I code with my eyes closed. I code pretty much every week. My intensivist, trust me, I'm in the room. I'm right by their side. I'm pushing the drugs. I don't do CPR unless they need that. But I'm pushing the drugs. I'm recording. I'm telling them what to do. I'm the CPR coach. I'm helping with intubations. So that comes naturally. But to the harder part, like I said, anyone really can teach basic BLS instructing. The harder part comes in, does that client get what they need to establish their business? Does that client get what they need to know how to fish for clients? Does that client get what they need to know how to streamline who their target market is? Does
Mhm.
client get what they need to know how to set up a budget, to come up with pricing. Do they know about a SWOT analysis, a competitor analysis, all of those things? And I thought about it and I said, well, you know what? They probably don't, because I know a lot of people who took the class in like 6, 7 months. It's a hobby. They're not really functioning as a business, and so that's why I decided to come up with this is my blueprint. This is the Bible, lowercase b, that we work out of, and all of the clients they get this ahead of time, and it really is a primature in how to establish your business, dot your I's, and cross your T's.
Nice. Nice. You know what? So I've been an instructor for maybe, I think I just renewed for my third time. And so 6 years, I guess.
Mhm.
And yeah, I didn't get anything. And like you said, once you go through your friends and family, it's like, okay, holler at me in 2 years. I got you, You're right. Like, I wish then, like you said, that I wish somebody would have taken the time to help me to set up the business portion of it. Nobody did that. They literally, we did one day of class and then they were like, okay, go be free, And, I would tell people, random people at church, hey, I could do your CPR if you want, but I did not have any of that business stuff. And so what you're doing is crucial. It is so crucial and so valuable. So people literally can leave your class and have their instructor certification and also have their business set up. Is that correct?
That's true because so my model is a little different. It's avant-garde, but it works. So I put them in, and I based it on the model that I used in the hospital with my new nurses that I'm
Mhm.
training to be. Nobody really likes to be alone or isolated, right? So I find the teaching model that I use is I put them in a group, so I'll talk to them privately before, but I put them in a private Facebook group because you want that synergy, right?
Right.
And if one person is thinking something, then probably the others are thinking also.
Right.
And you get that support. You don't feel like you're struggling alone. If one person wins, the entire group wins. You cheer each other on. And I really find that model to be successful. So I put them in a private Facebook group for 5 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks before I meet them, they already have homework. We're working out of the group because I want to have their business pretty much established before I see them. Right.
Nice.
And yeah, and then the second day on that Saturday, we're doing a summary of what we did before, and then we're honing ahead. We're coming up with our budgets. We're coming up with more marketing. I help them establish they'll tell you their social media identity. If they're in Tampa, I have a photographer and I have professional pictures done. If they're in another state, I do the pictures myself because I want them to leave with marketing collateral that they can start that day telling.
Mhm.
I have filters and different apps that I put them in so it looks really, really professional. They all leave with multiple pictures that they can use. So there's no excuse. They start to tell their story. So they leave with a lot. I have in the program embodied so much monitoring that for my model, I can check them off, because the American Heart says 6 months you have to be monitored. Someone have to come out and see you teach a class. But I immerse them. Like I said, it's the model that I use to train my nurses in the hospital. They get so much immersion because I know what a good code looks like because I run them every week. Um,
Mhm.
so they get to practice. You've seen some of the videos sometimes I've posted. They get to practice as an instructor and their peers get to critique them or tell them how well they've done. And sometimes I'm sitting right back there, and I'm a student. I'm not the teacher anymore, right?
Mhm.
And then they get to be a team leader. They run the codes. So it's so much immersion there because I want them to feel comfortable so that when they leave, they've covered just about every aspect of the teacher role and the BLS or ACLS that they feel. I'm not going to lie and say 100% comfortable, but they feel at least 70, 75% that they can do this, right? And even when they leave, when they have their first class, they're texting me because I'm so available. Miss LaVon, I have my class, okay? I'm like, that's okay. When you get there, if you have any questions, I'm available. Make sure you get that review because I know you got to give awesome customer service. Get those pictures. So I'm giving them like kudos. I said, now go back in the group and tell your peers how you got that class, how you got that student. So it's like it just, when they win, I'm like a proud mama. I'm so proud of them.
So let me ask you this: who can be well, let's do this first. You do both BLS and ACLS instructor training too?
And PALS, all 3.
Okay.
But
So
there's
you
separate days.
so you teach those classes individually,
Yes.
like to the community, and then you teach the instructor training classes too.
Yes. So I offer to the community the provider classes, all 4: Heart Saver, BLS, PALS, and ACLS. And then if you want to be an instructor, I can certify you in all of them.
Wow, that's impressive, LaVon. You're very smart. I don't know where you have all this time. Well, you know what? I want to know, why do you feel like the B&E audience should do CPR training? CPR pals, whatever. Why should they do that?
Well, this is a marketing thing that people text me all the time. They DM me, they text me, and they're like, I had 2 folks who messaged me, and they were like, I want to do the CPR instructor class, but somebody told me it's in COVID, there's no audience for it, or the market is dry. When since deaths stop happening?
Right.
Can't outsource that, right? So it sounds really hard, but that's a hard, cold fact. And I always tell my students, my clients, 70 to 80% of all cardiac arrest occurs outside of the hospital,
Mhm.
in the home. So whether you are a nurse, or just, even a high schooler, the odds are that unfortunately somebody or close to you, near, dear, or friend will suffer from a cardiac arrest, and it will not most likely be in the hospital. That's your reason right there why they should consider learning CPR. And then on top of that, if you are a healthcare provider, that gives you a competitive edge. Because if I am a student and I'm looking between 2 instructors, and
Mhm.
one is a healthcare provider and one isn't, and everything else is the same, guess who I'm going to go with?
Right.
I'm going to go with the healthcare provider, because maybe they have some other nuggets and insight that they can teach me. So,
Absolutely.
nutshell, yes. Hmm.
So you bring up a good point, because I was going to ask you. A lot of people think that you have to be a nurse or EMT or physician or what have you to teach CPR, and that's not necessarily so. Is that correct?
Absolutely not. Um, you're right. BLS, it can be anyone, 60
Mhm.
over, anyone. Right? You don't have to have a healthcare background. You can be a teacher. You can be a high school graduate. You can be a gym teacher, physical trainer, chef, anyone.
So my point is, because the B&E audience goes from student nurses all the way up to DMPs and PhDs. And so literally anybody, you could be a student, you could be a CNA, you could be an LPN, all the way up. Anybody in this audience can become an instructor.
Absolutely. And I would give a call out to those who have adjunct businesses like IV hydration, CNA school, scrub. If you own a scrub business, if you own a massage parlor, or a
Mhm.
nursing school, anything related to healthcare, this is another stream of income that you can add. If you do EKG, if you do LPN school, this is another stream of income that you can add, because that steady pipeline of customers that you have going through your original business, they almost always will need CPR as well.
Right, right. You have to think about it, people who have CNA programs, your CNA students are going to need CPR, and they could just come right to you and get their courses and then go right into the CNA program.
Absolutely, yes. And plus, you can use it as a competitive analysis, competitive, what do I want to say? Not analysis, edge, right? Because
Mhm.
one-stop shopping. They come to
Yeah,
you and they one-stop shopping. Even scrubs. You have scrubs, you have CPR, and you have CNA school. Get them all done.
yeah, you're right. You're right. I love it. I love it. So I noticed you had one book that you showed us. Do you have any other books that you have that help us out?
Yeah, so a lot of folks, even maybe those who may be watching this in the original broadcast or on the replay, a lot of folks have asked me, reached out to me, and they're asking me questions about how maybe they have some interest, but they're not quite sure that they want to be a CPR instructor or open up a CPR business.
Mm.
This right here, this is my bestseller book. This is the updated version, and it says Comprehensive Guide to Becoming an American Heart Association CPR Instructor. This has just about every question that you can think of as it relates to starting a CPR business, as it relates to equipment, as it relates to the process, as it relates to training center, as it relates to vendor list, as it relates to price list. Everything that you can think of is in this little book. And then, I'm a nurse, so I like pictures and I like colors. Everything that you can think of is in here. I've updated it to include information on ACLS and PALS. I've
Yes.
updated to include information on the 2020 updated education material, the DVDs, the price list, there's place for notes. Everything that you can think of is in this little book right here. Right? Yeah, and I'll post the link somewhere here. And for those of you who are watching, my gift to you guys this rainy, cold weekend is a 30% discount code, M2TH20. And
Nice. Nice. Did you guys hear that? It's a 30% code. That's what you said?
yeah, I sure did. M2TH20, 30%. Yes, I upped it, 30%.
So something that I love. Whenever you're live, particularly late at night, I think you and I are kindred spirits that we're always up at around the same time at midnight. But like I said earlier, I've been a CPR instructor for some time now, but I don't push it really, really heavily because I have other things I have going on. But honestly, whenever you come on live, you give so much value and just so much motivation. It makes me leave every time like, man, I should really get my CPR stuff really going again.
You should.
I think about that all the time. Like, when COVID hit, I was like, yeah, I haven't done a course since January of last year. I think it was January, February of last year. I haven't taught a course, but every time you come on, because you're just I love the energy. I love the expertise. I just love the passion that you bring. And so it makes me wonder why do you think somebody should even work with you to begin with? What is it that you bring that's different?
Well, you said it, passion. Passion, and anyone who's ever met me, they will tell you, and it's real and it's authentic. I really enjoy what I do. I love working with all of my, you see, I call them clients and I call them students, friends. And even I'm such a giver, even when I have like definite cutoffs, I'm still available to them because I want them to win. I really, really, it doesn't make sense for me to just teach somebody and then cut them off and don't really truly offer them help and support even after the time with their contracted time is over. I love what I do. I'm passionate about saving lives. I mean, that is at its core. I do that every day. And they know that when they work with me, I'm going to give them the tools that they need to be successful. And the only thing that's going to stop them from being successful or having a decent business is their level of motivation. And that's the first question that I have in my little boot camp is, what is your why? That is the first thing that we start off here is, no lie, it says, what is your why? What is your why? And so they know they're going to get the tools, they're going to get the business, even after they work. Not only that, I like to give, right? So they all get swag bags. And every class is different because I just like to give stuff. And then even after they work with me, I keep them in a group. And I'm constantly, if I find out a tool or asset that can be helpful for my business, guess
Mhm.
what? I share it with them. I share it with them. So they know that they're gonna get somebody that won't leave them. They're gonna get continued support. I'm available to them. It's not somebody that, okay, bye, our 5 weeks is over.
Mhm.
Um, really at its core, passion, authenticity, and that they're going to get the tools and support that they need to give them a running chance out the gate.
Gotcha, gotcha. Talk about, because I know that you have, is it a Better Business Bootcamp? Is that correct title?
Yep, BBB.
What does it entail exactly?
All right, so the Better Business Bootcamp, actually, I started that as a beta early last year.
Mhm.
And the folks, so basically, what it is it's for budding entrepreneurs, novice entrepreneurs who need direction or have no idea. They have an idea, they have a talent, but they don't know how to put it all together in a business that is legitimate. Like, when I say legitimate, I don't mean in terms of something like nefarious versus non-nefarious. I mean in terms of having the things that the government or the city or the county requires in the eyes of the government,
Mhm.
to be legitimate in the eyes of the federal government in terms of tax reporting and acceptance of income, in the eyes of marketing for clients or having that business infrastructure. Because before you can, go out there and bill, you have to have a success, how do I say it, a sustainable, strong foundation that you can build on. So what I do is I help them from the beginning. I help them establish their business identity. So maybe they're not familiar with that. So I introduce them, not an attorney, but I introduce them to the different concepts of business ownership, whether it's an LLC, an S corp, a C corp. I guide them, and then once they make a decision, then I help them establish their EIN number, explain to them the importance of keeping their finances separate and apart from their personal,
Mhm.
the why. Because I feel like if you just tell somebody something, there's a low likelihood that they're going to do it. But if you give them the logic, same thing I do with my new nurses. If you give them the why and the logic why they should do it, they tend to understand it a little bit more,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
yeah, to actually carry out that task. So it's just basically somebody there holding their hand, giving them the tools to build their business, and then we go into marketing, because if nobody knows you exist, guess what? You ain't selling nothing.
Yep.
Yeah. And then even those ones who have established businesses that maybe they're not seeing the revenues that they need, or if they're not seeing the clients that they need, then we offer them the marketing arm of the Be Better Business Bootcamp.
Gotcha. Um, you have some upcoming dates as far as coming to different cities and teaching BLS. Is it just BLS that you're teaching right now, or ACLS as well?
No, actually all three. So there are clients out there. They're
If you can log out and log back in. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Her volume cut out. So I'll give her a chance to see if she can log back in. I hope that you guys are getting value out of this. If you're not a BLS instructor, I want you to really pay attention to what she's saying because, like I said earlier, whenever I started doing this, about 6 years ago, we had absolutely no business, none whatsoever, no business training. They kind of just threw us out there. And I mean, it's not their responsibility to do business training with us, but I want you to understand that a lot of the nurses here in the B&E community that do BLS training, they really give you a lot. They give you a lot of resources, a lot of value, and that is incredible. I've never experienced that or seen that before. So let me grab her and see if I can bring her back on here.
all right.
Hey,
Can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear. Yep,
Okay, that worked. Apologize, guys. That phone just sort of cut everything off.
no worries. All right, go ahead. You can continue there. So
All right.
we were talking about traveling across the country. Are you
Yeah,
only just doing BLS classes across the country or everything?
the whole gamut. I mean, so February 11th, I will be in Richmond, Virginia. Uh,
Hmm.
so that is, I will be doing BLS, and um, then February 19th, 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st in Tampa, I'll be doing BLS, ACLS, and PALS. I have folks as far as California flying in for that class. I'm so honored. That is
Wow.
a long way to come and see me. So I am so, so honored. And I am absolutely going to give the best that I have to that particular client, actually to all of my clients. And then February 26th, actually 5, 6, 7, and 8th, I will be in Houston, Texas, back in your neck of the woods. But and I will be teaching all of them. I will be teaching BLS, ACLS, and yeah, ACLS and PALS. And then, so those 3 dates are confirmed. And then I'm looking at in March, North Carolina and Georgia. So we'll be teaching PALS in Tampa and also in Houston, and then we'll be doing ACLS also, and in Richmond, just BLS. But I've had folks who want to do ACLS. I have one person, so if anybody else want to jump in, I will be more than happy to teach ACLS up in Richmond as well.
So what are your requirements as far as going to the different cities? Do you do you want people to have at least 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, and then you'll come to that city, or how do you make that determination on where to go?
So I'm easy peasy. If we have 4 people, I will make the trek. If I have 2 people, I will put it on my agenda because I am confident in my marketing abilities that there are more people that I can get between the date that those maybe 2 folks pay, and I always strategically space it out to allow people time to, work their budget or work their time off from work or what have you. Because I know when I go to places, I don't like things like last minute. So
Mhm.
I try to give 6, 8, or 12 weeks out. So ideally, yes, 4 folks or more. But if there are 2 folks who paid, I will put it on my calendar because I'm confident that I'm going to be able to get that 4 by that time. And I've never had to cancel. I've never had to refund. People know my word is my bond. If I say I'm going to be someplace, I'm going to be there.
Good, good, good. So we have a lady in our comments right now by the name of April Swanson, and she is gonna be in Virginia, and she is excited. She is
I
excited.
know. I've been talking. I can't wait to meet you, April.
I'm so happy because you know what? She's gonna be able to come back and talk about the testimony, how much fun she had, but not only that, the learning experience. And then think about this time next year, April, how your business will be thriving. You know what I mean? Isn't that a great feeling?
Yes, I mean, all of my clients, for the most part, they're all doing well. Of course, I have like some folks who have maybe a few more opportunities that they're getting
Mhm.
now. I have one of my clients, and when they do wins, they always contact me. I have one of my clients, so I'm going to put you on blast, Miss Merrill. She contacted me. I was doing a live in my other group, and she was
Mhm.
like, "It's got a company that got me for 10 students." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that is great." And she's like, "I split up the classes." I'm like, "So you know what to do." I said, "You're going to do an amazing job. You get those reviews, you get those pictures, and then you start talking about coming back in 2 years, right? You already start to promote yourself." My clients are doing well. I have another one, Miss Ketley. She is working on her CNA prep. She's done
Wow.
she did BLS with me from Miami. She came back a month later, drove 4 hours, came back and did the ACLS. And she said, not boasting here because these are her words. She said she had the opportunity to do it with other folks in her town, but she had a great experience with me and she wanted to come back and take it only with me. And that meant the world to me.
Mhm.
I don't know, that just touches my heart.
Yeah, it's very special, and like we always say, this group is about economics. How can we utilize our skill set to pour back into our community? And so, there's nothing better than teaching our community life-saving skills. There's nothing better than that.
There is, and especially when we know that the likelihood of somebody performing CPR in your community is less than in a Caucasian community. But
Mhm.
just think about it. Suppose that's your loved one or your friend or your peer or your coworker, right? So the more people that we can educate on how to properly do CPR and train them, the better for our communities.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what's next for you? What do you foresee in your 2021, Miss CEO?
God, I can't turn my brain off. This is why I'm up late at night. I really, truly, thoughts swirl in my head, ideas, and I just can't turn it off, right? That's why you see me up 1 o'clock at night. So, in my immediate future, God
Mhm.
willing, I am working on CNA prep because in Florida, you can challenge the exam. So, I'm working on that. I'm also working on what's the other one? I'm also working on CEUs. I did get that licensure or ability to give CEUs from our good friend, Dr. Francis here in B.
Eva,
Dr. She's an Island gal too, right?
she is. She's
Yes,
from
yes,
Jamaica.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Giving her a plug here, guys, if you guys need CEU. And I always like to lift people up. She is the plug, all right? She's going to give to you in a reasonable price and in a small amount of time. So my plan eventually for this year is to develop some type of training program for nurses who either want to come back into the nursing field and they've been out of it, or those ones who are in COVID areas and they want to brush up on their critical care skills or their skills to come up with a program and offer CEUs and have some type of nurse training boot camp, either online or in person. So that's what we're working on.
Very good, because I may have to hit you up. I've been out of nursing almost a year now, so
I got you.
I may have to come down there. But you know what I really am interested in, and I may contact you for this too, because, like I said, I put my CPR a tad bit on the back burner every once in a while. Every now and then somebody hit me up like, hey, I need my courses. But I'm telling you, every time I hear you talk, I'm like, I really should be like promoting this more and more and more and more. I know, I
Okay.
know. So I may have to contact you and get my life together.
Oh, what I understand that you have okay, so you give so much for this community, and we had this conversation when we met in Dallas, Texas. You give you know what I'm going to say. You give so
I
much
know.
um, for this community and for the members in here, and even for the ones in the membership program, that you neglect yourself. So even today, when I saw folks talking about scrubs, I had
Yes.
no a lot of people in here sold scrubs, but I had no idea it was so many. And I'm
Mhm.
like, people, this is your tribe, right? Because the marketing person is coming up with me right now. So purchase a membership and utilize the tools here as a member and promote your business. There are so many people here that I wear scrubs at work. I bought somebody from, I think on Instagram Black Friday, because I see them all the time on Instagram, and they
Yeah.
had like it's a special, and then I'm like, okay, why not? And I wanted to support that business because I saw her posting all the time on IG, and then she had an incredible offer. That's
Mm.
one of the things I talk about in marketing, coming up with an irresistible offer. But I'm like, this is your tribe, people. Just get a platinum or a silver membership and just market.
Yeah, we do. There was a post about a year ago here in the group about scrubs, who has a scrub business. And there are a lot of people here. And, like I said, I actually reinstituted the a la carte option of the directory because, especially with the way Clubhouse is going right now, and so there's so much visibility and so much just interest going on, and I've seen that translate over into our community. And so when I'm on Clubhouse talking, and there's so many people asking me like, who teaches CPR, who teaches CNA, it's so easy to just funnel them right to, hey, LaVon's listed in our directory and all of her information is there. You can go and find everything that you need to know about her and get a hold of her very quickly and easily. So it's so easy. And that's why I'm trying to get people, hey, make sure that you take advantage of, yeah, the membership, absolutely. But at minimum, put your name in the directory, because I've been able to just send people links. I've been able to just say, hey, go to the directory. It's on the website and you get everything that you need there. You want to buy black, shop black, stay in our community. I have a whole community of nurses for the full spectrum of nursing, healthcare, whatever. We got people who do trucking. So we do it all. And so I have that visibility to be able to provide you.
And not only that, you can have your clients leave reviews. Like if anyone's
Mhm.
interested in CPR, go look me up in the directory right now or after the after party, and check out our reviews. See
Yep.
what. Don't take my word for it. See what past clients have to say.
Yes, absolutely. So, what would you say to the person who is on the fence about doing CPR? Maybe they're a little scared. Maybe they're not the strongest nurse when it comes to life-saving measures,
Mhm.
or maybe they're like, I don't know how to teach. I don't like to talk in front of people. How do you help that person?
Yeah, so my thing would be, first, if they tell me that they have a desire to own a business, a specific business, and teach in CPR. CPR, I can work with any, I don't want to say objection, but any hesitancy or
Mhm.
any thing that they have that they're not sure about. As long as they tell me that they're passionate about it and that they're sure that this specific business they want to start is a CPR business, I can work with all of the other things. So I've had someone tell me, I'm not really a good public speaker. I'm a little shy. I'm an introvert. And I'm like, that's okay. We can pop that DVD in. I just need you to know how to connect the dots, show them how to actually do the compression, be passionate in your delivery, right? And then follow the plan, because the American Heart has everything set out.
They do.
In the training, trust me, I will put you in the hot seat because you will get to be the instructor. You will get to be an instructor. You will get to welcome guests. You're going to get to develop your stick, or whatever you guys say,
Mhm.
multiple times. So by the time you finish with that, our classes, so American Heart says 5 to 6, 7 hours for BLS training. Our training is 8 to 5 or 8 to 6 sometimes. So
Mhm.
you have multiple opportunities to overcome whatever is holding you back public speaking. So if you're telling me that, oh, but I don't know where to get the money from. Okay, that's okay. Because in nursing, especially if you're a nurse, when I wanted something when I was a floor nurse, I thought in terms of how many extra shifts do I need to work
Right.
to get? Or, we develop concepts. I talk to my clients all the time. Business shower, that's a relatively new concept, right? And they're like, well, business shower. Well, just like a baby shower, you're not birthing a baby, you're birthing a business, right?
Hmm.
Zoom. You've seen it right here. Some people, not so much a shower, but they've had like grand openings via Zoom. There's so many tools that you can use nowadays. Crowdfunding is so many. I mean, you just have to tell me that you're passionate and this is your desire, and then we'll work around all of those other objections and trying to get those fulfilled.
Very good. Very good. So thank you. I really appreciate your, from me specifically, personally, I want to say thank you for what you've done for me. Just keeping me uplifted and motivated, and always being very supportive of the community and our mission, vision, and values here. I feel like you see exactly what I'm trying to do and where I'm trying to go. And you're always there to kind of say, hey, what is it we need to do? How is it that I can, help to support you or lift you up? So I really appreciate what you've done, and just how you've stuck by me and encouraged me during this process. And I'll give you the opportunity to have the final word for our listening audience for tonight.
Well, you make it so easy because you're a beautiful person in spirit and in kind and in person. And I had the opportunity. Many of you don't know this. I have to post the pictures. Aviona came out to meet me in Dallas when I was teaching, and you didn't,
Mhm.
and I appreciate that, right? So, like I said, you make it easy. This is a wonderful community to be in. When I win, you win. When you win, I win, right? We all win. But I wanted to, in closing, thank all of you guys who are watching. You could be doing anything in the world. You could be anywhere on the planet, and thought to stay by and listen to what we had to say. And I appreciate that. For those of you on the replay, same thing. If you have an interest, a desire to start a CPR company, please reach out. I'm very approachable. You can DM me on Facebook. You can email me at info@Matters2TheHeart. You can text me at my number. It's on all of my marketing collaterals. If you guys are shy, you just want to purchase my book, this is available. I'm giving you guys that 30% code. Just know that when you come to my class, you will leave prepared to start a business. I put whatever I do for my business, I do for your business. I put all the tools. This go around, we're expanding the things that we're going to be teaching. We're adding a little bit of business credit in there. So as I evolve, all of my upcoming clients will evolve. My past clients will get a bit of it. And just know that I put my 1000% heart into making you guys the best CPR instructor that you can be at the time, and to see you guys grow. We also offer, I don't promote this a lot, but I'm also an American Red Cross instructor in every single modalities, ACLS, PALS, and BLS. I haven't really pushed that a lot, but that's going to be coming. I did have a few people who are interested in that. So that's coming. But then again, reach out to me. I can't wait to see the upcoming class. I'm so excited to be traveling and meeting all of you guys. And oh, did we tell them about the after party?
Oh, yes, we're going to tell them about the after party. So what she's saying is we'll continue the conversation over in the clubhouse here in about 15 minutes. So once we wrap up, actually it'll be at 7:45 Central Time. So if you're on Clubhouse, we'll just continue that conversation for another 30 minutes to an hour, or whatever we want to do. But you know what? This is what I really want to say. Before we wrap up, you got to talk about this makeup line real quick.
Oh!
Yes.
Right. Yes. So this makeup line, I've had this for almost 2 years. So it's Matters to the Heart makeup line. And I had this epiphany one day because nurses, I was a floor nurse for many years. I still do some travel assignments just to keep my skills up. And so we're always in scrubs, right? We're like
Mhm.
clones of each other. However, all of my peers and myself, if it's a few things that we like getting our nails done, we like makeup, we like wearing our little designer bags, and we like shoes, right? So that's how we differentiate ourselves. So I came up with this idea to sort of merge, because I do like makeup with my business matters to the heart. So I came up with our signature lipstick, which is our code blue. I don't know if you guys, it has the logo in there. It's code blue. And like when you think of a code blue, you think of, well, blue, but you also think of red, right? So this is my signature color, code blue. It's in a nice bullet tube. It has our logo. You guys can find this in my PayHip store. It's a beautiful brick red. I mean, this is like, I'm wearing it right now. Beautiful brick red. It's in a beautiful, beautiful tube. And so that's that. And then the second color I added, this is in memory of my mom. My mom was a pediatric nurse for 32 years.
Wow.
Her name is Yvonne. So I'm LaVon. I'm her favorite child, right? My sisters don't like me to say that. But her middle name was Cecile, and she always wore makeup. She wore fashion fair. I don't know if you guys remember fashion fair. She wore fashion show makeup. She loved to wear perfume. She loved to beat her face, and she liked like a burgundy wine color. So I came up with this color in honor of my mom. This is Sister Steel. And like I said, it's in a beautiful tube. And when you guys purchase this, because like I said, I'm a giver, you get a free lip liner. So I'm trying to put matching color lip liner that comes with it. And these are all beautifully packaged. This is the lip liner. Look, I feel like I'm on like YouTube or
Yeah.
I don't know, they do something like that.
Mhm.
So you get the lip liner, and then we also have the addition. This is our gloss, and it's clear, and it has the Matter2TheHeart logo. It's sleekly packaged. Like I like everything to be in quality and to be, really well done. So like I feel like I'm on, I don't know, the makeup people. So all of these are in my PayHip store, and if you guys would like to partake, you can find them all there.
Nice, nice, nice. So, what's cool about this is that you've taken your love of nursing and you ran with an idea, and it's branched out into so many other different business models. I mean, who would have thought matters to the heart makeup line, but it works and it's beautifully packaged.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
so I want people to understand that multiple streams of income is the way to go. You don't have to just be a CPR instructor. You can branch that out into several other streams of income and make it all work.
Absolutely. And I can tell you, I don't just talk the talk, I walk the talk. All this matters to the heart. And you struck on a nerve when you said several streams of income, because that's the motto, really and truly. And when you start with your CPR business, I train my clients and the students in the Better Business Bootcamp. On our second day, you can build. This is the foundation, and you can build so many other things. And I've done this with my other business, Crystal and Diamond Events. I have six or seven streams emanating just from that. So when
Really?
you get a serial for sure entrepreneur. I've had these businesses close to 5 years, and they're all doing well.
Very
So
good. Very good. Very good. All right. Well, we will wrap it up here. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Thank you, Miss LaVon, for just coming and be an array of sunshine and just giving us so many nuggets all the time. I want to make sure that everybody is following us, Black Nurse Entrepreneurs. I want to say hi to our YouTube. We just started streaming over on YouTube, so say hi to the YouTube family. Yes, yes, yes. But make sure you're following us across all of our social media platforms: Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, all of that. Make sure also we have a club on Clubhouse, so you can follow that too, because a lot of us are there and we go live there. Download the app. I have streamlined that process so that you can get information quicker. So download the app and always subscribe, share our podcast. All of this information will be in our biography section, as well as LaVon's information. I will include that. And don't forget, she said that you guys get a 30% off discount tonight. So you better utilize that. But more importantly, make sure that you're watching out for her, because she's literally going around the country having all different types of courses and classes. And, one of the things about CPR for me is, if nurses don't start any other business, I'm like, that makes sense to me. Out of any business we can start, CPR makes sense.
And I feed you. I feed you. They all get fed, like
Yes.
restaurant food, free.
Exactly, exactly. So that's it for us today. I want to remind everybody our motto is that we are the trend. We set trends here. We don't really follow, we pay attention to trends, But we set trends over here because we want the world to follow us, what we're doing. But
Right.
most importantly, I'm going to end this with our favorite word. Our favorite word is ciao.
Ciao.
You
Ciao.
guys have a good night, and we will see you over in the clubhouse in about 15 minutes.
1-5. There you go. Thank you, Albiona. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good night.
Ciao. Okay.